Should you give intermittent fasting a try if you are a woman who's an emotional eater? There's been so much hype recently about intermittent fasting and the amazing results that so many people are having. Weight loss, lower blood pressure, mental clarity, improved focus. It can all sound so appealing. So, should you give fasting a try if you are an emotional eater? In this video, I am going to give my own personal views on fasting, not only as a person who has tried intermittent fasting, but also as an emotional eating coach and an emotional eater myself. And I will give a mix of research as well as firsthand experience. And at the end of the video, I'm going to give you my recommendation for whether or not you should try fasting as a way of weight loss or weight maintenance as an emotional eater. Let's dive into why fasting may do more harm than good for emotional eaters. Intermittent fasting isn't a one-size-fits-all solution for those who need to lose weight. While it might work for many, it can create possible problems for emotional eaters. Why? Let's dive into the research and find out. The first thing we need to examine is the impact that it has on hormones. Women's hormones play a critical role in our overall health, and fasting can actually throw that delicate balance off and create quite a few problems for women. Women who fast experience the fight or flight response more frequently than men. By restricting food, you're sending a signal to your body of scarcity, which disrupts the production of gonadotropin-releasing hormone, and this results in lower levels of both progesterone and estrogen. Low levels of progesterone lead to PMS because progesterone works as a mood stabilizer. As a result, increases in irritability are seen, and that can result both from the low hormonal levels of progesterone as well as the reduction of blood sugar due to fasting. Low levels of estrogen impacts a woman's fertility, sleep cycles, the regulation of insulin, and the management of moods. The result of the disruption of the hormonal balance for a woman can prove to be detrimental to her overall mental health as well as her physical health. If you are an emotional eater, you know that emotional eating goes hand in hand with stress. Fasting can exacerbate the issues by increasing your levels of cortisol, which is the stress hormone. Imagine pouring gasoline on a fire. That's what fasting does to an already stressed system. It can lead to adrenal fatigue and leaving you feeling exhausted and overwhelmed. The increase in cortisol caused by intermittent fasting disrupts the body's ability to adapt to stress. So if your system is already stressed, it can be made worse by fasting. And we really can't look at intermittent fasting without looking at the psychological impact it can have on anyone who does it, but especially to emotional eaters. Intensity in food cravings and obsessions with food increase when a person is fasting. It's like putting yourself on a food roller coaster. The highs of restriction followed by the lows of binging. The emotional turmoil can take a toll on your self-esteem and your overall mental health. This impact was shown in a 1940s study that was done on college-aged students, and it was actually done on men, and it was called the Minnesota Starvation Experiment, and it was done during World War II to help the government prepare in the event that there were food shortages due to the war. College-age men with no previous desire to lose weight volunteered for this study, and they were put on a 1,500 calorie diet. They lost 25% of their body weight, but they also experienced depression, fatigue, and heightened fixations of food. They reported dreaming about food during the experiment. The result was that these men were detrimentally impacted by this restriction, and it impacted them mentally and emotionally as much as it did physically. Prior to COVID, my own personal experience with intermittent fasting was I thought it was going to be a great thing to be able to have a very restrictive window of time that I could eat, and the fact that I could really eat what I wanted during that small time period. And the fact that I felt so in control when I was fasting yet so out of control when I was eating. What I have found, and what I did find when I was using intermittent fasting, was I was so fixated and so focused on what I was going to eat during my food window that I couldn't stop thinking about food. And my relationship with food became even more dysfunctional than it already was. I had not been doing any work on myself when it came to my recovery from emotional eating. And intermittent fasting just made my food obsession and my focus on food 10 times worse than it already was. And whether or not I was able to make it through my fasting period, or if I had to end it early, it had a huge impact on how I felt about myself. And it created huge highs and lows for me in how I felt about myself and my self-image, and as well as what I felt about my body. So personally speaking, I always knew that intermittent fasting had negative effects on me emotionally and mentally. And it wasn't until I really started doing more research to find out that both men and women have had issues when it comes to fasting or being restrictive and on a restrictive diet. It's one of the things that I don't promote when I help emotional eaters get to the weight that they want to be. I don't promote dieting because I don't think dieting works because of how it creates this restriction and deprivation mindset. And it's a scarcity and abundance mindset that can go very, very wrong. Although intermittent fasting is not considered a diet, it is considered a style of eating. It still creates the same feelings of restriction and deprivation and overindulging that a diet would actually create as well. So it is my recommendation that for emotional eaters, it is not something that I would ever recommend to one of my clients, nor to any of my friends, especially women, but anyone who is an emotional eater, male or female. If you are looking for solutions, non-dieting solutions to reach the weight that you want to reach, I would suggest clicking the link below in the description for my Stop Dieting Guide. And it will give you your first steps into how to start to change your mindset when it comes to looking at how to lose weight, why you want to lose weight, and what the steps are that you can take that are going to be healthy, sustainable, and that are going to protect your mental health. It's time for everyone to prioritize mental health and physical health. And that has to be done through eliminating the use of diets in order to get to the physical health that you want. Let's build a healthy and happier lifestyle together. Remember to click the link in the description for my Stop Dieting Guide. If you have found this video helpful, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel, Breakthrough Emotional Eating. I'm here to help you manage your emotional eating and change your relationship with food.